Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Stephanie and together with my friend Danielle, we clean homes for free. In today's home, we are cleaning the kitchen of a 77-year-old pensioner who is disabled and, as you can tell by these photographs, smokes quite a lot in the kitchen, and so that is what we are tackling today. Unfortunately, as you have probably guessed by the introduction, Danielle is not able to do this voiceover with me today, so it's just myself. But in the actual video, as you will see, Danielle is cleaning. And yeah, so this voiceover, it's been a while since I did one by myself, and it's very strange to me now to have to do that. But unfortunately, I can't leave any of the original audio in because there is a very loud fan that plays, like that is running the whole time in this video. So I had a look at the original audio and that's all you can hear. So this voiceover will be a combination of me talking and dead air. Also, in the past, when I did voiceovers by myself, I would pause and edit and like tweak the voiceover, and I would spend a really long time on it. I do not have the time or energy to do that, so you will just hear what you hear. Usually when me and Danielle are doing the voiceover, we just press record and start talking and you get what you get. And I think people do kind of like that. Sometimes we slip up. I do say like a lot, I say a lot, and it is just normal everyday speak. And I know that in my classes, a lot of the lecturers, when I listen to the recordings, they are the same, like when they're having to talk for a long period of time to a group of people. So I think it is very common. So this video, it is a little bit all over the place. The kitchen is very, very small. Also, sorry, just to interrupt myself here, look at this. Like, that is just, that is it. So the kitchen was very, very small. We wanted to try something a little bit differently. So we put one of our cameras up really high to try and catch like all of our movements in kind of a bird's eye view type of thing. And we have managed to do that. But when I was editing the video, rather than splicing parts of that in, I thought it was very jarring. So what we're going to do is release a members only video of just the bird's eye view. I mean, it's not quite a bird's eye view, but of just the overall view, and it'll be uncut, unedited, just sped up basically, and then you can kind of see like how much we move and stuff during these cleans. But yeah, this video is kind of pieced together a bit weirdly because we used one of the cameras up on the top of the cupboard. We only had one camera to share and there wasn't really space to set up another camera because it was very small. So we kind of just kept swapping the camera between us. But I was kind of focusing mostly on the desk and organisation and going through some stuff in like the open cupboards, like expired food and things, whereas Danielle was really in her element doing all of the physical cleaning. Like I did some cleaning, but Danielle, she was just a whirlwind around this kitchen. She did like 3/4 of it, so credit where credit is due. She did amazing. Excuse me. So our only cleaning product that we actually used in this kitchen was elbow grease and fairy washing up liquid. We have found that elbow grease is just the product to use when cleaning nicotine stains. Well, there we go. As usual, I forgot to mute my phone. Sorry, 1 second. One of these days I will learn, but just today is not that day. The other thing that we used is Danielle put some drain and blocker in the sink. The one that smells really nice, I think it's called like Drain Buster, and it's in a blue carton. Sorry, my dog is jumping on me when I'm doing this. So for once my house is quiet. My kids are at football and I am, well, my younger kids are at football with my husband and my older kids are upstairs. So it's just me and Xander hanging out in my living room. So there shouldn't be too much background noise. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So we were sharing a camera. I had to also cut some bits out because the kitchen was so small. You can kind of probably work out the location of the house based on what you can see out of the window at some of the angles. So when Danielle's cleaning the window, which was so satisfying to watch, the window in the window frame, I actually had to cut most of that out because I didn't want to put a big like square in the middle of the screen because then you wouldn't actually see the cleaning anyway. But also I couldn't leave it in because you would kind of figure out the location if you are local to us. So this whole kitchen really needs like completely stripped down and redecorated because the walls are not supposed to be this yellow colour, but we can only do so much. So I think we were in this property for about 3 hours because this was the day that I had to get back early for my husband going out for dinner. I think this was actually the second visit to this house. Danielle had come to this house previously, but I don't think, I've not actually watched the footage back, but I don't think she got very much done because the gentleman that was living here was kind of directing her rather than just letting us like get on with it like what we normally do. And that kind of threw her off a little bit because she had in her mind, right, I'm going to start in this room and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to move to there. But she was kind of like part way through what she was doing. And then he said, you know, can you come and do this bit? And can you come and do this bit? And then on that day as well, for some reason, she had to go home early. I think her youngest daughter was unwell or there was something and she had to leave. So the footage wasn't really usable. So that's why I've not really included it. But she had originally told me, you know, oh, this house is a lot of nicotine. We need to make sure we take the elbow grease. But she didn't really like I was not prepared for how much. So I said to her from now on, you know, we're going to need to have some sort of scale if one of us sees the property before the other. So like, oh, scale of 1 to 5. So this would very much be a 5 in terms of nicotine. But yeah, so here's me doing some cleaning and I didn't realise till afterwards. So when I was watching the footage back, obviously when you watch Danielle clean, she sprays the product, you get to watch it sit, which we always do, but you don't always get to see it. But because of the satisfying drips, I left some of it in. So she lets it sit and then she just goes straight in with the microfiber and wipes it away. Whereas I didn't realise about doing that. And so I was making more work for myself because I was just doing what I always do, which is spraying the product, letting it sit, but then scrubbing and then wiping. So I'm scrubbing this radiator and I probably could have saved myself so much time just going in straight away and wiping it, which I didn't realise until the next thing I start cleaning. Danielle's like, oh, you could have just done this. Well, now you tell me. So I spent far too long on this radiator and I think I actually cut some of it out because it takes so long. Also, you know, because it's ridged as well, it kind of complicates it. So while I was doing the radiator, I think this is when Danielle started doing the window. But what she did, and you'll kind of see some of the footage, is she cleaned the windowsill, then she cleaned the window frame, I think, and then she does the actual window and then the blind. But by the time she's done the window and the blind, all of the nicotine, like you see how it's dripping down on this radiator, so it does the same on the windows. So then she has to redo the sill, which I think you do get to see that. So yeah, here I come in with the wipe. When I was editing the footage, I knew I was going to have to do this voiceover by myself. And so I was thinking of everything I was going to say. And then obviously the second I hit record, I always forget everything that I'm going to say. Also, if you do hear any background noise, it's my kids upstairs because I can hear them listening to a video. So some of this footage is me holding the camera. So here I'm holding it while Danielle cleans this fan. She's braver than me to get up on top of the bunker to clean this because I was like, I don't know how I'd be able to get up there and back down again without my knees breaking. But yeah, the inside of that fan is not supposed to be black like that. So she started to try and scrub it with this like wired cleaning brush that I passed to her, but that was not effective. So then she changes it up and tries a soft bristled brush, and that works a little bit better. Ideally, we should have taken the front cover of this off and tried to clean it that way. But you know what we're like, we always forget to take something with us, and we didn't have our little mini toolkit with us that day, so we weren't able to do that. But I think we are planning on going back to this property at some point, and so we'll probably do that then. But she does pretty well for what she can do. And I mean, it's so satisfying seeing everything going from like complete yellow to white. And there's such a contrast because, as you can see, the walls, like that was probably originally a white paper and now it's all completely stained yellow. And a lot of things like the nicotine like does wipe off, but sometimes it stains, so that blind is not salvageable, it needs replaced really. But also the gentleman is going to continue to keep smoking in this room, so it also feels like, what's that saying, when you do something very minor and it's not really making a big difference because it's just going to immediately go back like that. But so what he does in this room is, because of his disabilities, he kind of sits on a computer chair, and he spends most of his time in this kitchen. So he sits on a computer chair in the middle of the room, and he has his little desk with his TV and his laptop and all of that stuff. And he must just like when you just smoke one after the other. I can't remember what that's called. But yeah, so he just sits and smokes, and then when he wants to like cook or do dishes or anything like that, his chair is on wheels, so he just kind of like scoots around. So one of the problems that we had in this kitchen is that we couldn't really put things away because he needed to have everything at like mid-level to be able to reach it. So the best we could do was move things, clean it, and then kind of organize it a little bit better. Things that he wasn't using as much, we moved higher up and then brought things that he might need further down. So that was one of the challenges of this room. And then the other challenge is that there was just so much stuff in this room that doesn't need to be in there. Also, just really quickly, you see that spoon sticking out of the radiator? First of all, that is really well lodged in there. And second of all, it's genius because he actually just uses it to hang a carrier bag from to act as a rubbish bin. He does actually have a rubbish bin like in the corner, but I don't think he can empty it, like, because he can't get it out of the corner again. Because we considered putting it here, but then there's just not space. It's going to block the cupboard. There wasn't space between the cupboard and the desk. So we just we emptied the bin and left it where it was. But we could do with a better solution for that. But I mean, he's got a pretty good solution. He just hangs a carrier bag on that spoon, which I thought was just a pretty good hack. So yeah, we did try and like do a little test patch on a wall to see if, you know, it would wipe clean. But no, the nicotine was very well ingrained into that paper. But it does look like there's some... So for example, there's a little shelf above the desk with a clock on it. And it's funny because Danielle kept asking me the time all day this day. And it wasn't until the very end we were like, oh my God, look, there's a giant clock right there that you could have just looked at and seen. But yeah, and so above that clock, you could tell somebody's like tried cleaning the wall, but unsuccessfully. So I don't know who that was or when it was, but yeah, when we tried it, it did not work. I was very pleased to see that when Danielle was cleaning all the like plug sockets in this video, she was turning them all off before cleaning them, which was very good. Also, this man was very much a Temu shopper, and I don't know how other people say that because I just seen an advert and it said it's Temu or Temu or something like that, but I say Temu. I overstress my E's and everything, so if it's incorrect, I do not care. That is how I say it. But anyway, so he very much does a lot of shopping. We found a lot of like random like little gadgets that he does not need, that he's never even opened, but he just keeps buying. And he even admitted to Danielle, you know, that he really likes to shop on there. So we basically filled like a whole box of just little unopened like random things. And then I think we moved it into one of the spare rooms. There was something, so as I was saying before, I went on my little side quest about the spoon and the radiator, was that there was so much stuff in this room that he doesn't necessarily need. But then it's hard for us to judge that because if he's spending the majority of his time in this room, it's like, well, what does he need to have within arm's reach? So he keeps all of his medications in here, which that is fair enough. But then there's like paperwork and electronics and random gadgets, and we didn't even go into most of the cupboards because, like I say, he doesn't use them because he needs everything at arm's width. But the things that we definitely knew he wouldn't use, so like there's a shelf with loads of paperwork that has obviously not been touched in years. It's all yellowed and withered and stuff from the smoking, so we just moved that to a higher shelf, and then brought some things down to the lower shelves, like tin food and stuff that he probably would need. Also, Danielle did wash a lot of the dishes in this house. I think I cut it out or I sped it up, one of the two, because I knew I was going to be doing the voiceover by myself. I was like, I don't know how long I can actually talk for, so I didn't want to have the video like too long. But then also a lot of it was quite repetitive. And then because we were kind of switching up where the camera was, a lot of it was dead footage anyway. But yeah, so she kind of works on this half of the kitchen while I'm mostly in that corner. Also, just a fun fact, I found, so the oldest food item that I found was from 2000 and I think it was 2016. So quite a long time. And there was like cereal and stuff from 2018 and things like that. So all of that got binned. And then this bag that I'm putting rubbish into, oh my God, it was horrific. So I think Danielle mentioned in the last video of the last house that one of our like rolls of bags were like faulty, but we didn't really notice. Like we noticed like a couple of the bags had split in the last house, but we didn't, make that connection that it's an actual faulty batch. So then we're still using that same roll in this house. And this bag here, I make quite heavy, and I'm moving it from the kitchen. You have to go through the living room where the gentleman was sleeping, by the way, into the spare room where, he's needing everything cleared out of that room. So we were just putting some rubbish bags into there because they wouldn't fit in his blue bin. And we're going to be having that spare room emptied by Callum over at Trash Converters anyway. So I start carrying this bag through to the spare room. And as I'm walking through the doorway of the living room, the whole bag splits. And I'm like, oh my God. The gentleman wakes up. He's no idea what's going on. I'm calling through to Danielle to come and help me. There are food items all over the carpet on the living room floor. It was horrific. I'm traumatized. We just decided to bin that batch. We realized that was the faulty batch of bags, so we binned it. So that hopefully will not happen again. So this is kind of the last little bit of cleaning that you guys get to see. Danielle is obviously cleaning it, but see that like back bit of the cupboard, that doesn't clean as well as the other bits. I don't know, I think it's the material that it's made of. Everything in this kitchen was kind of like the cabinets were all high gloss, so it was really satisfying, but then the backboards are obviously more of a matte MDF kind of material probably. Also, you see that little jug that's on the middle shelf there? I thought that was meant to be cream, but no. Danielle washes it and it comes out completely white. And then on that bottom shelf, that's the paperwork that was then moved to the top shelf. And that little basket has like biscuits and crackers and nuts and things in. So yeah, here are the before and after photos. I'm really sorry that it was just me doing the voiceover today, but I feel like I killed the time pretty well. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. And if you do want to check out the members only video of the bird's eye view footage, hopefully I'll be able to get Danielle to come on and do the voiceover for that if she's free. She's having a bit of a tough time right now, so she might not be able to do that, in which case I will just waffle on some more. But anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!